So you're going to want to cut these into julienne strips. I'm sure you guys can all hear Noodle in the background. He's currently doing Transformers. So if you hear any loudness, it's just him playing and watching Transformers reviews on YouTube. So today we're going to make something we came up with a few years ago. I took out chicken, had no idea what I was going to do with it when I took it out in the morning before work. Came home, looked to see what we had in our pantry, pulled out a bunch of ingredients. I had actually just gotten saffron from my sister-in-law, so I was thinking something along those lines of paella, but me personally, I don't eat seafood. So we just kind of came up with this recipe and we've been making it ever since. Everybody loves it. It's really good. Very minimal ingredients. The only ingredient that is going to be a little costly, but you only need a little bit of it. So, you know, I find that when I buy it, you know, I just got some today, and it was $11.59. It is going to last me a while. So this is what we got. So you're definitely going to want to purchase some saffron. Don't skimp out. My husband today was like, oh, I don't see saffron at the store. And then he did find it, and where he was at, it was $17.99. He's like, oh, I'm just going to buy some yellow rice. You just don't want to buy the yellow rice because it's not going to be the same flavor. And we don't use rice. We are actually going to use Orzo. So I'm going to cut up these onions as well. You're just going to slice it. About a half an onion should do. I have a very large sweet yellow onion here. You can use white if you want. It's just really a preference. A lot of my cooking I use white onions. This particular recipe, I just kind of like the sweetness of the yellow onion. So that's pretty much it for step one. Just a bunch of cutting of these two vegetables. So stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, we're back. Step two, pretty much all you're going to want to do is heat about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in your pan. I like to actually saute the vegetables first before I move on to the browning of the chicken. So we're going to let this pan get a little hot. I actually have a pretty nifty device that I got many years ago working in HVAC. We're at 233. That comes in very handy too when you're doing like candies and things. If you don't have a candy thermometer, I find that that works just as well. So we're going to take our vegetables, toss them into the pan. Kind of spread them out. You really don't want them to steam. You're going to want them to kind of get a little bit of color on them. I have my stove turned to a medium-high. At this point, I'm just going to put a very small amount of salt and a very small amount of pepper because we're going to be seasoning this whole dish when we get everything together. I like to use the fresh cracked pepper. If you have just the fine ground pepper, that works totally fine as well. And I also use a pink Himalayan sea salt. So you can use regular sea salt, regular iodized salt. whatever you have on hand as far as pepper that you use every day. Again, make sure they're not so crowded. Now we just want these to get a little bit of color on them, just because they are going to be cooking for a while with the chicken and the rest of the ingredients that I use. So they are going to get softer during the cooking time. Right now I just want a little bit of color, and I want to pull out the sweetness and flavors of these vegetables. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll move on to the next step, okay? Alright, now we're moving on to the chicken. I'm going to have to do this in a few batches just because the size that I got are really big and they wouldn't all fit in one pan. If you get smaller size and you can do it all at once without steaming them, we want to actually brown them. I always start with skin side down, get a nice crisp and golden color on that. We just simply salt and pepper, that's it. So I'm going to let these just kind of do their thing. And then we'll pull these out, set them aside. I'll finish the rest off. And then we will move on to actually assembling this whole dish to get it cooking and marrying all together. Alright, so I will be back shortly. Okay, so at this point we have our chicken browned off. Again, not cooked totally through, but browned. Oh, you want to say hi, Noodle? It's for your noshing.
Who's there?
Nobody yet, but there's going to be people that watch this. Do you want to say hi?
Hi. My name is Benjamin, and we're doing noshing with Noodle.
Yeah. All right, Mama's going to get back to this really quick before this gets too hot. All right. So we're going to deglaze just a little bit. Usually I have a can of chicken stock or chicken broth. This time I just had a big box of it, so...
Oh.
What? You're fine, Benjamin. We're just going to deglaze and scrape the bottom of the pan. That was our chicken stock. Hold on.
That's it?
Yep, that's our chicken stock.
That's just a chicken broth?
Yep. Alright. So again, typically I have, just a 15-ounce can, which works perfectly for this recipe. Today I had like a 32-ounce carton of it. So what I did was in my measuring, I did, because I wasn't going to do just in the middle, I just did 16 ounces.
Mommy.
Yes, love?
Can you get me my,
You're going to want to scrape the bottom of the pan. Can I get you what? I don't know where your chef hat is. Can you go look for it? Mama's got to do this really quick.
I think it's in my room.
All right, go look in your room, love. All right, so now we've deglazed the bottom of the pan with, oh, by the way, I did drain quite a bit of the fat from when we browned the chicken. And also I wanted to tell you that we actually, this is a one-pan dish, so it saves us so much on dishes. Where we moved to a year ago, I have no dishwasher, so anything one pan is awesome for me because it means less dishes for me. When Benjamin watched me do dishes every day over and over and over again, he was like,
that's me,
yep.
Benjamin Alistair.
Yep. So he told me, Mama, can you do something? I'm doing dishes. And he's like, Mama, that's all you seem to do is dishes. He's like, I think that's a bunch of nonsense. Kind of agree with him. And now he's actually changed it to Mama's doing for the birds, which I still agree with.
Because the birds do dishes.
Birds do dishes. Yep. All right, so now we have this deglazed. I did turn the heat down just a little bit. And now we're going to put this all together to let everything cook. Why don't you go find your chef's hat that you created?
Okay, but I'm just a little afraid of the hallway.
Turn the hallway light on, look. Here, go. Turn the hallway light on.
No, come on.
No. All right, so we're going to add our chicken back into the pan. And again, dishes. So I used a paper plate when I just set my chicken aside because I don't want any more dishes. So we are going to put all of our chicken into this pan. These were actually very large chicken thighs. Typically the ones I end up getting are a lot smaller, so we're just going to kind of fit that in there. All this juice and liquid going in there too. Now let me put this away. Alright, Noodle. Wait. Alright, let me get the rest of your ingredients first.
Wait, are you saying actually, since you put that up there, you're not sure if the website is done?
Well, it's not done. We're going to continue to share with people.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to add this really quick and I'm going to get Benjamin his other ingredients. So this is just the remainder of the 16 ounces, 2 cups of chicken stock.
Hi, Pops. Hi, Grandma. Hi, everyone.
Alright. Now, the next thing we're going to add, before I add the vegetables that we actually cooked off earlier, is our tomatoes. When we first created this dish, we actually used 1 can of stewed tomatoes. This morning when I, said, oh, I have all the ingredients for this, except the saffron, I didn't have stewed. All I had was these, which we're going to try today, fire roasted diced tomatoes. I'm sure it'll be great. So here you go, love.
Do I have to pour it in?
Yep, just carefully. Remember, whoops, carefully. That's all right. Mama's used to washing things.
Yeah.
That's another thing too. I used to own one of those splatter, the grease splatter guard screens. For when we're doing chicken. We don't fry food in our house, but sometimes when you're doing this, you are going to, because of the heat and the fat content in the skin, you're going to get splatters. I gave Benjamin that to play with quite a few years ago, probably about 3 years ago at this point.
What to play with?
I used to have a screen that went over this to prevent any of the grease splattering. You see all these little spots on the stove?
Yeah.
It's all grease from splattering cooking the chicken.
Oh, so you used to have something
I did.
that wipes the grease?
No, I used to have something that went over this pan so the grease wouldn't splatter everywhere. But I gave it to you when you got your very first kitchen for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it since. I don't know where it is. When we moved, I couldn't find it.
And I don't know where it is with my kitchen.
No, you don't. So we're just going to kind of move the tomatoes around. Kind of get them in between the chickens.
But anyways, grease will land on this.
Yeah, and then then Mama will do what?
But then we can clean it.
That is correct, love. That is correct.
With a towel?
Nope. You can't just clean grease with a towel. Alright, so now the next step is the vegetables that we sauteed earlier. You want a red bell pepper? You can have one. Benjamin loves his bell peppers. Do you want to take a yellow one really quick too before I pour them all in the pan? Okay. Alright, so then we're just going to put these all in the pan too.
What are we making?
We're making our saffron chicken with Orzo. No, we are not making that. We're not making that. And none of you out there want to know what that is. Yeah, it is.
So instead of saying a word that we can't say ever, that we can only say to Assyrians, but we about how to say it to other people to keep our secret is Gaza Gilead.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a chef's hat. Put your head down a little bit so I can see it a little bit. No, just straight. There we go. Benjamin created the chef's hat a few weeks ago. He did it all by himself. We love it. He's got the American flag and Mommy and Daddy and Benjamin. All right, so now that we've added our chicken back to the pan, our chicken stock, our tomatoes, and our bell peppers and onion, we're going to bring that up to a simmer. And then we're going to kind of turn it down, put a lid on it, and let it do its thing for, again, the chicken is not cooked all the way through, so we're going to do it for about 35 minutes before we add our orzo to the end of this. And Noodle coming in here, I don't know if I remember to say this, but the reason why we do our vegetables in our pan first, I think that's what I was starting to do before he came running in here, is when we do our vegetables first and we saute those in the olive oil, it pulls out the sweetness and the flavors from the peppers and the onions that then infuses that olive oil with that flavor. When we brown our chicken, now our chicken is having another layer of flavor because of the flavor infused oil from the vegetables. So that's just a little tip if you're ever doing a one pan dish or anything that involves sauteing vegetables, you know, maybe some garlic, maybe, you know, you're doing something with herbs. You can certainly do all of that first before you actually brown your meat, because that is going to infuse those flavors into your meats. All right, we're going to let it do its thing, and we'll see you soon. All right, so now our dish has been cooking for about 15 minutes out of the 30-35 minutes. What we're going to do now is we're going to add some of the saffron. All right, and you only need a little, hold on, Benjamin, you only need a little bit. It's kind of hard to get out of this, but hold on, Benjamin, let me move your hand. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Whole thing?
No, we don't pour the whole thing. So this is about as much as you need.
This doesn't even look like food stuff.
This is saffron. It is
It doesn't even
the
look
pistils
like
of a crocus flower.
Oh.
All right, get our saffron in there. And make sure it's all off your fingers, because sometimes it sticks. All right.
Because it's sticky.
Yep, you just need a little bit of it. And then what we want to do is we just want to kind of push it down into the liquid. And it's going to release all its flavor and fragrance during the rest of the cooking time. And this is what's going to give it its delicious flavor. Alright, so now we're going to put the lid on and we're going to continue to cook it for another 15 to 20 minutes. And now we've turned it down.
Okay, we're going to cook it for 15-20 minutes.
And then we'll come back.
I'm telling you.
Yeah?
That, do that.
Oh, you're so silly. Alright, so we'll see you soon. Alright, so after your 30-35 minutes of cooking is done, you're going to add about 3/4 of a cup of orzo. Let it come to a boil. Turn the heat down to kind of like a medium simmer, just so your orzo pasta can get tender. You know, test it, obviously. You'll know when it's done. It's not crunchy anymore. Usually this typically takes maybe about 8 to 10 minutes. And this is what you have. A delicious one-dish meal. And then what we like to do is top it off with a little bit of cilantro. And individual portions if you want more cilantro. I love cilantro, so I'll add more to mine. Benjamin won't to his. He's good with what he has. And the hubby will either leave it how it is, or he might add more to his sometimes. We do hope you'll try this dish and let us know what you think. All right, from our family to yours, bon appetit, enjoy.